Hi friends, hope all of you are doing great. Today I would start my discussion with two very simple examples. Let's see in an Olympic Games where there is an archery competition. Yeah, I'm sure you have seen the bows and arrows. Just think for a moment, when the arrow comes out of the bow, no matter how much you try, can you bring it back? It may not hit the desired spot, but it's very, very difficult or it's impossible to bring it back. Just take a pack of toothpaste. If you see the tube, you take the entire toothpaste out and then try to put it in. Do you think it's possible? In both the examples, it is impossible to do or to take it back in terms of the bow and the toothpaste into the tube. Communication in today's world is one such aspect that, when you communicate, when you speak or write or whatever way you communicate, you never can take it back, and hence it's very, very important. So I'm sure you all have understood that today's what I'm going to discuss is all about communication. We are in the middle of a communication jungle where you see communication from across. Now the question is, how do you communicate and how do you ensure that your communication is heard, is communicated well, and your communication is different from the rest? This is called effective communication. And I deliberately want to put a force into the word effective. You get communications across, but why do you think some communications strike your mind, strike your head, and many communications strike your heart? Some communications you remember for your life. Some communications you want to follow, others not. That is what is the topic today, which is effective communication. As I was saying, that we need to make our communication effective. Now, let me come back to what are the types of communication we can have. And this we know more or less everyone, that there is something called verbal communication. The second one is written communication. And the third, is there any other kind of communication? Yes, you guessed it right. The third and the most important way of communicating is non-verbal, non-written, which is through your body, through your gesture, through your postures. Also remember that listening is one great part of communication. So, I'm not going to discuss in details what is verbal communication, what is communication in writing. I will discuss that a little later in terms of what are the steps you should take or what are the precautions you should take to ensure right communication. But let me delve upon a little bit around what is non-verbal and non-written communication. Your body is an amazing machine. And believe you me, starting from the top to bottom of your body, every part communicates with the outer world. Guess what is your biggest communicator? Your biggest communicator are your eyes. I remember long back, someone told me that, why people trust you? Why people rely on you? It's not for any other reason, but he said that you have honest eyes. I don't know whether that's true for myself, but I'm just telling you what I've heard from someone. But just imagine how eyes help you in a communication. Similarly, your hands, your attention, your way of sitting, your way of walking with some people, you're keeping hands on their shoulder, or the way you handshake, all these are huge source of non-verbal communication or non-verbal, non-written kind of communication. And this has more value than your verbal and written communication. Now, before I get into further ways of effective communication, let me tell you one very interesting thing. Always remember, what you say is not communication. What people listen and understand is the communication. So never think what you are trying to communicate is the right thing is the thing which is reaching the people. You have to be conscious of the fact that what they are actually listening and understanding is what you communicate or is what you are communicating. Now let me come to the types of communication and how do you make it effective. Written communication. Many people say a lot of things. This is how you should write an email, you should not use block letters and etc. I'm sure all of you are quite senior enough to understand how to write an email. I would just try to tell you two things to focus. One, never reply or respond when you are in a hurry. There is nothing in this world which cannot wait for 1 minute or 5 minutes or 1 hour. Mail sent in a jiffy is always a wrong communication. This is the most important aspect of written communication. Whenever you are writing, give yourself some time. Write it down, wait a minute, if required, sip a cup of coffee or have a glass of water and then enter the send button. That will help you rethink what you have written and whether you are rightly communicating. The next important aspect, no matter what you write, it has to be humble. There has to be an humbleness into the whole email, what you're trying to communicate. When you write a longer note, when you write something to your subordinates or to the employees at large, please remember to clarify. There should be a clarity of your thoughts, and please remember to clarify what you're actually trying to communicate so that the message gets straight into their mind. In my working life, I have seen one very important way to communicate in writing is to give your subordinates handwritten notes. And this handwritten notes many times becomes proud possession of the concerned employees. So when you are praising someone, when you are giving kudos, if you are able to give some handwritten notes, are a great way to communicate, and it's a fantastic tool of personal communication. This is all about written communication. Now let me discuss a little bit around verbal communication. As I was saying that there are two types of verbal communication. One is extempore and the other one is non-extempore. So when you are doing a non-extempore verbal communication, that is always structured. That is again has two parts to it. One is a one-on-one verbal communication and one-to-many verbal communication. When you do one-on-one or one-to-many, in both the cases it is very important that you are completely prepared for that. The homework, the preparedness of this is going to be the most important aspect. But remember, even if in an extempore communication, the most important aspect is going to be honesty. What you are trying to communicate, please communicate honestly. People are too intelligent to understand who are the people who communicate honestly and the people who fake it out. In case there is a structured communications, structured verbal communications, like you are addressing a town hall or you are addressing a gathering or an audience, the most important part is preparedness. Please prepare. Please prepare yourself. Take feedbacks from people. Understand what is the kind of audience which are there, and ensure that you talk, you communicate, take feedback about your audience, the kind of people. Suppose your audience is teens, then you need to talk to them in their language for them to absorb. If your audience is matured employees at a certain seniority, you need to talk to them on a language which is easily understood by them. Hence, taking and understanding who's your audience is going to be very critical for a verbal communication. Last but not the least is communication through body language. Extremely important, as I said earlier. I'm still saying it's extremely important, and it's more important than your written and verbal communication. When you're communicating, please ensure that, again, the same thing, you're honest, your body language shows that you're eager to help the other person, you are eager to hear what he's saying, and then you are interested in a genuine solution. Therefore, your body language depicts honesty in the whole communication. I'm sure if you're able to practice these things, your communications are going to be much more effective and you'll be loved by everyone.